Stuff! Hello, welcome back to another week here at Just Gay Stuff Podcast. I'm Jess.
I'm Lauren. That hurt my throat.
Yeah, because you went full on.
I was trying to go a bit screamo.
You're going back through your emo phase.
Well, you know how we were talking about doing, well, I wasn't doing it. You were going to do like screamo covers or heavy metal covers.
I'm not doing screamo covers because I cannot scream, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Heavy metal covers or something.
Yeah, I wanted to do like heavy covers of pop songs. And speaking of pop songs,
Every millennial had like...
have you heard Hilary Duff's new banger?
Yes.
It's amazing. It's so good. I love a tune with some really good lyrics. If we're not playing this on Joy FM right now, we should be. I don't know if we are, but I'm not endorsing it. I'm just saying.
Yes, she is.
That every queer gal that loved Lizzie McGuire is living in their element right now.
I think it's any millennial, like essentially, because boys would have had a crush on Lizzie McGuire, girls had crushes on Lizzie McGuire. Like
And
she was the it girl around the time of Britney and Lindsay and all that.
Oh, yeah. Everyone knows that from that movie.
Do you not know the title
Raise
of
your
that?
voice.
Thank you. Everybody knows that from that movie.
I didn't need to say the movie title. That's the whole point of that. Oh, yeah.
Anyways, get back to her new song.
So her new song, which if you haven't heard it, is called Mature.
I can't believe it took me all day for you to play it to me.
Yeah, but you were at work, so
Yeah.
you had things to do and I didn't. It's amazing. If you haven't checked it out, you got to check it out.
The video clip is also
the video
good.
clip. My God, Hilary Duff is
She's
like
banging.
a vintage fucking wine. She is way better with age, can I say? Because when she was
That leather jacket moment.
yeah, when she was Lizzie McGuire, I wasn't about it. Like I liked Lizzie McGuire, but I wasn't like, oh, Hillary's banging, you know. But now, as my 34-year-old self, sorry, forgot my own age for a second, thinking about Hilary Duff.
Just didn't want to be reminded.
Thinking about Hilary Duff as my 34-year-old self, looking at that music video, watching that music video, and she's in a cinema chair in a leather jacket and hardly anything else.
It's just like a black bra, and I'm like,
so
oh.
good.
It's just like, and the confidence and the sexiness of it all. I'm like,
I know.
oh. I think we watched it like 5 times on repeat.
You wouldn't know she's had 5 kids.
No, you wouldn't.
She is
And
stellar.
you wouldn't know, like, I think we looked up her age or something, and it wasn't that old really.
Is she
but
40?
40
I can't remember.
something.
I can't remember.
But like, what a banging babe.
Well, that was really one good thing that came out of this week.
Yeah.
How has the rest of the week been for you, Lauren?
Stressful.
Stress.
I think we spoke a bit about having something really exciting happening
It is. It's very exciting.
in our lives. It's just very stressful at the same time.
Well, we're all on a journey, aren't we? And this journey is called life. So they say.
Jesus.
So much happens every week, so much stress, highs and lows. I hope that we are a small part of the happiness that everyone has in a week. I hope that we bring some sort of laughter and happiness to people's lives if it is stressful or you're experiencing some low lows because, you know.
I hope so too. I know that I would have benefited English.
no, you said it.
benefited from someone like us.
Yeah, I think so.
Something
weird, some
this
people.
is interesting.
So before we waste everyone's time, let's talk about this week's episode.
Oh yeah, that's what we're doing.
That's what we're
recording.
here for. Yeah. So this is an episode that I feel is probably very overdue, given that we are an Aussie queer podcast.
Ooh.
We've never really focused on Aussie queers.
Oh yeah.
So
Huh.
we've interviewed some,
We have.
but we've never really compiled a list of those Aussie queers that we find quite iconic.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
So I
yeah,
thought
you were
it was
right. True.
time. Was it time?
It was time. It's time.
So I thought we'd compile this list of the more iconic Aussies that are well known in Australia. Obviously, we are not going to be able to cover all of them. So I've just picked a few for this episode that I felt like, you know, we could tell a little bit about their coming out story and make us more acquainted with them, our homegrown celebs.
Do you think I will know these people?
Yeah, you'll know these people. You might not know the first one, but if you don't know some of these people, I'll smack you.
I might like that.
Ooh.
Just kidding. This is a PG. No, it's not
No,
actually.
it's not PG. Well, anyway, I tried to Google the very first Australian to ever come out and be in the public eye, but I knew it probably wouldn't deliver me the goods. But what it did deliver was the person that we're going to start with, who is Ian Roberts. So we're going to start with Mr. Roberts and we'll go from there. But now, Lauren, I don't think you'll know who Ian Roberts is, do you?
I don't. For the people watching the video, they would have seen my face as you were reading that out. And I was like, who the fuck?
Okay, so he has been mentioned in a couple of our previous episodes.
Has he?
One with Mark Trevorrow and our very first interview ever, which was with Farmer Dave from Big Brother.
Love you, Farmer Dave.
Yes, we love Farmer Dave. Two of those people, we left, unfortunately, Farmer Dave off this list, but he could make another list in the future. So let me tell you who Ian Roberts is,
Please, because I have no idea.
he is a very important person in the Australian landscape. So Ian Roberts is an Australian rugby league great who made the brave decision to step out of the closet in 1994.
Wow.
A time much less accepting than 2025, and especially in the world of sport. As we know it, it's brutal. It's brutal to come out in the world of sport, don't we know that?
It's brutal to come out in general, but
Well,
especially in the world of sport.
We know that men in sport are perceived quite masculine and very macho, and if they...
Oh, it's frowned upon.
Yeah, so frowned
essentially,
upon.
which is terrible.
Well, he was the first rugby league player in the world to be brave enough to take a large step, knowing full well that it could absolutely shatter his career and the way that the public viewed him.
That's very brave.
Very brave. 1994, everyone. Now, I know
Especially in Australian culture too, because Australia was a bit slower than like the European and Americans and stuff too.
Oh, yeah. And I know I say he was the first rugby league player in the world. Rugby league is not played all over the world. It's only played in certain countries. So that does like...
Really?
Yeah, it's only played in like Australia, New Zealand, some of the Pacific Island countries. It really hasn't made its way through
So the
Europe and the
European
US.
hasn't. It's just that's more just like soccer and
We're only really starting to bring rugby league to the US now because we do that first rugby league round in Vegas. Yeah. So it really hasn't cracked that market. They're still big on their NFL and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Ian Roberts was the first rugby league player to come out of the closet, and he knew that it could absolutely shatter his career and the way the public viewed him. At the time, he was playing for the Manly Sea Eagles, and the club reportedly knew his sexuality, constantly supported him and the decision for him to come out publicly. But as you can imagine, in 1994, the reaction from the public was very mixed.
That's sad.
So he was championed by some and vilified by others, especially at games. He was subjected to a lot of hate speech. This apparently caused much grief for his parents, so much so that they stopped attending his games because they couldn't handle the constant negative onslaught of their son.
Oh my God.
That's really sad because then it starts to affect the way your family can view you, perceive you, and the ways in which they support you. Like they no longer felt like they could go and support him in person. So that's a really big blow, I feel.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Like you said, not being able to be there to support your son in like some of like his prized games.
Well, his sporting achievements, like they would have been at all of his rugby games until he was this age.
Yeah.
And now they felt like they couldn't be there.
And that's horrible because then he'd start, like you said, it changes their perception of him and their views start to change and his view probably changed and goes, oh, my family don't love me anymore. I'm ashamed because of this, or they're ashamed of
very,
me.
very hard thing to deal
Your
with.
mental health would be fucked.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's something that we all have struggled with, I think. It's not a individual experience.
No.
So even though it took him many years and we are now 31 years in the future, Ian Roberts has been named as an absolute pioneer in Australian sport. Ian became a symbol of strength, paving the way for more inclusivity on the fields and for other athletes to comfortably perform as their true selves. Now, Ian continued to play as the first openly rugby league player for another 4 years, ending his professional sporting career in 1998, which is great. He still had his career for 4 more years, so it didn't ruin him. That's amazing. Like, that is a step forward.
That is really good, especially back in 1994.
Yeah. Flip the script. He then went on to study at NIDA.
What?
Yeah. So if no one knows what NIDA is, the National Institute of Dramatic Art, or NIDA, in Sydney. and he became a successful Australian actor.
Really?
He starred in features like Superman Returns, Mad Max Furiosa, and many more. He's also releasing a new documentary about his life coming out called Light, the Ian Roberts story.
That's really cool. But I'm like, I need to Google this person.
You would know what he looks like.
Because especially if you're saying he's an Australian actor featuring in Mad Max Furiosa and many more, I'm like, oh.
But have you seen Mad Max
Yeah, I
Furiosa?
have.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
The Mad Max ones are a bit too much for me. They're very brutal. Oh. You don't like brutal movies.
I don't. I like Charlize Theron.
Yeah. Well, he was in that with her. Okay, so as we said, I'm not going in any chronological order because I couldn't get like the very first Australian and then the next one and the next one. So to stay on some sort of Ian train, we're going to zoom over to Australia's golden boy of the swimming world, Mr. Ian Thorpe.
I see what you did there.
So now, I don't know about you, but do you remember any of the speculation over Ian Thorpe's sexuality over the years?
Only when I was older and I guess kind of discovering my own sexuality as well.
Right.
I think I was too young when all the speculation was coming out. I don't think I was really aware of the situation.
Yeah, well, it's funny because as a young person, I remember it being a massive topic of discussion. And at the time, I would have only been 9 because Ian Thorpe debuted at 17 years old in the Sydney Olympics in 2000. So
yeah, and you're what, 2 years older? How much older than me are you?
2 years older.
2 years older, yeah.
Yeah. So you would have been 7.
Yeah, see, it wasn't in my brain.
But even for me, already at 9 years old, I was hearing the speculation over this public figure's sexuality. And also...
And you remember that?
I do.
Wow.
And he was only 17. So A, why was anyone speculating over his sexuality? And B, why was it anyone's business of this 17-year-old?
And also, was it just because he was a public figure?
Oh, yeah. Of course, you know what gossip is like everywhere. Everyone wants to know who you're sleeping with, who you've slept with, what you eat for breakfast, and what your favorite dinner is.
Yeah.
And what your favorite sex position is. Everyone wants to know this shit. So Ian Thorpe ended up officially coming out in 2014 at 31 years old. After all those years of public speculation, he said he had grappled with coming to terms with his sexuality since he was a teenager and had copped homophobic slurs and hate before even coming out. So that, sets you back. You're already receiving hate for something that you may not even be. And so you're just seeing reasons as to why you shouldn't take a step out of the closet. Yeah. But when he finally did feel comfortable enough to take the leap, he felt a warm embrace from the people, which is a great result, obviously.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think because Australia did already recognise Ian Thorpe as the golden swimming boy, it was kind of like, oh, take him in and make sure he's okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Look after him. I do remember later on when he came out, but I don't remember the speculation and all that stuff going through in the beginning.
Maybe it was because, as you know, my mum loves watching the swimming.
Yeah.
So we always watched the swimming when the Olympics were on. And maybe it was just because in my household, everyone gathered around and watched those events. And maybe because it was a topic of discussion. Well, I don't even know why it was, but maybe because it was, that's why I knew about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Well, even though I feel like people do pave the way, like Ian Roberts came out well before Ian Thorpe was in the public eye. But we see people come out and we think, wow, that's so brave. Maybe I can do that too. But it also has this negative side of you then start to see all the hate that people who are out of the closet are enduring. And while you're trying to make the world a better place, sometimes it shows you just how unsafe it can be.
Yep.
But, without people coming out and being brave and normalizing two consenting adults loving each other, no matter their gender, we would still be so far behind from where we are now. So we have to be thankful.
Yeah, I think we definitely have to be thankful from where we are, especially as there are still, unfortunately, places that illegalize gay marriage and gay relations, whereas we're very privileged in Australia.
We are.
To
even though we've had our hurdles and we still do.
And we still do, but to now have legalized marriage and it's not illegal to be gay in Australia, essentially, anymore. So I think we are very privileged in that sense.
Let's just take it back to Ian Roberts, for example. He came out in 1994 and same-sex relationships were still illegal in Tasmania in 1997.
I know, isn't that wild?
So he came out 3 years before it was completely decriminalized in Australia. So we talk about people being brave or people being stupid. Maybe it's a bit of both, because the safety aspect there, you're really playing with your life, you know?
And I think that's what also makes it hard, because it's, again, unfortunately, we watched a story tonight of a mental health struggle, and probably the same thing that queer people went through when it was still illegal to be gay in Australia. And, you know, you either went, well, do I risk my life by coming out because of where I'm at and being authentic?
Or do I live a lie?
Or do I live a lie and be mentally unwell? To which my life could end anyway. So
yeah, it's really hard, isn't it?
It's that shitty catch-22.
You're tipping the scale at both ends.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on to our next influential Aussie. We're going to talk about our lesbian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Penny Wong.
Yeah.
Do you know who Penny Wong is?
Yes, I do know who Penny Wong
Why
is.
Why the response?
I think my
mixed feelings.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings.
Don't worry, I have mixed feelings too.
Penny Wong. I think she is in the community but doesn't necessarily stand up for the community.
Well, let's talk about that.
Right.
Okay, so Penny Wong came out after securing her seat in the Senate in 2002 and has since served in the Australian Parliament for more than 2 decades. Now, even though being one of the most prominent queer people in Aussie politics, Penny was said to originally be against same-sex marriage, which a lot of Aussies obviously found insanely hypocritical.
Dun, dun, dun.
Her allegiance to the queer community was up for debate under the Gillard government when she allegedly supported a vote against marriage equality.
Why?
Why did she do this? Who knows? You can't get inside her head.
Why would you,
I'm going to put it out there and give her the benefit of the doubt just for the sake of our podcast and for the sake of remaining Switzerland in the middle of two, one negative and one positive, whatever. And I'm going to say, I think she didn't want backlash on her for the sake of her sexuality.
Right.
Because in the time of supporting gay marriage, and we'll get to what she actually thought in a minute, but in terms of supporting gay marriage as a gay person, people are going to go, oh, you're out for your own agenda.
Yeah, right. Okay. I understand from that point of view.
So I think, a lot of speculation was the fact that she had supported a Christian rally under the Gillard government not supporting same-sex marriage. I think she didn't want it to come across like it was nepotism, like she was only supporting queer people because she was one.
Okay.
It had to come from another sense of this is a reason, it shouldn't be up for debate, really, right? So
I can understand if you're putting it in that context from that point of view. I can understand her
this is
being
purely speculation because I don't know
her,
and I know that it was up for debate with her. Okay. But she was openly against the same-sex marriage plebiscite that we all lived through in 2017 for the right reasons.
Right.
So she named the plebiscite as a damaging and expensive way to avoid a parliamentary decision on a civil right, which, as we all know, leaving the rights for some people up to others to debate led to a lot of hate and discrimination. We all lived through that bullshit.
Also, why is it anyone else's opinion that aren't a part of that community?
So this was exactly her reasoning. She was essentially saying she didn't support the plebiscite because it shouldn't be someone else's opinion whether two people got married. She believed that the government was shifting the responsibility onto the people when it should have just been a blatant parliamentary decision to give people their civil rights.
Yeah, of course.
So I agree with her in that.
Yeah,
I think
me too.
We are one of thousands of queer people that thought it was the dumbest thing. It was the biggest waste of money. Why did it need to be up for debate? We should have just had the same rights as our hetero norm brothers and sisters. I don't need to drag on about this. We all feel the same way. I'm sure if anyone out there who is queer was against same-sex marriage, it was probably because they didn't want to get married and had a brilliant excuse as to not to get married because it was illegal and they don't want to do illegal shit. As Ursula Carlson has said, if you wanted to do illegal shit, you can do other stuff. So
it's true.
Penny was against the plebiscite. She has been up for debate in the Queer Australia eye because we don't know where she lies on the
queer scale.
The queer scale. Penny said she also didn't want her own relationship to be the subject of inquiry, censure, and condemnation by others, which I'm sure is how we all fucking felt.
I was fair. She shouldn't need that.
Yeah. However, when we finally got the news that same-sex couples were legally allowed to marry in Australia, Penny broke down in tears. So it is no doubt that she has further inspired other queer Australians to enter politics in a landscape where we constantly need to remind others that we are here, we do count, and we need to remain visible.
Yeah. That's really interesting to me. I think I had those mixed feelings, but now you just giving me the context, I understand a little bit more about why she did what she did.
This is the general problem with media, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I fell for the own trap that I sprout on this.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Yeah.
Like, lesbian senator doesn't back queer group of people.
Oh, yeah. It's all super clickbaity.
Yeah, it's so clickbaity. So don't fall for the clickbait, Lauren.
I know.
Come on.
I think I had other issues, but that's a different podcast.
That's fine. That's fine. We're going to remain Switzerland on this one. We're just telling the people.
Yeah.
All right, now let's move on to some absolutely amazing TV royalty.
This is one of your favourites.
Yeah, I can't believe you just said before, will you know any of these people? Of course you know these people. Okay.
Well, I didn't know the first one.
I'm talking about now Magda Szubanski.
What a legend. Strong in roles and strong in life.
Yes. Well, if you are a fan of Magda, you do know that currently she is fighting a stage 4 mantle cell lymphoma. So all of our thoughts and prayers are with her in this absolute fight for her life. I have to say, every time I see a photo of her with a new article on Facebook, I fear the worst. But thankfully, she is a fighter and we haven't lost her yet.
Sharon is stubborn.
Now, Magda is an absolute pioneer in Australian comedy. Everybody, if you are Australian, you know exactly who she is.
Oh, yeah. She's legend.
So starting in sketch comedy and being discovered in 1985, she was first broadcasted in a show called The D Generation in 1986. From there, she went on to be a member of Fast Forward, and then with her friends Jane Turner and Gina Riley, they founded the well-known comedy show Big Girls Blouse. Which is where Kath and Kim first started.
Wow.
So Magda went on to star in well-known roles in features like Babe, and of course her more recently most well-known for playing Sharon Strzelecki with Gina and Jane in Kath and Kim.
She was in Babe?
Yeah, she was the lady in the farmhouse.
Really?
Yeah, that was like one of her biggest roles.
I have not seen Babe since I was a babe.
I mean, same, but I remember her in there.
Wow.
Now, Magda says that she knew her sexuality from the age of about 11 or 12.
Mine was 12.
So, yeah, kind of like most of us, I think we have an inkling around.
Yours was 5.
Yeah, I fucking knew.
You was an early bloomer.
I was like, yeah.
You're like come out the womb being like, I'm gay.
Yeah, literally. She struggled with suicidal thoughts over her fears of being openly queer, but when she finally came out in her 30s to her family, she said she was widely supported.
Oh.
She came out publicly in 2012.
Wow.
Now, in an interview with Andrew Denton in 2018, she said, when you've internalized society's homophobia, it's like it corrupts your operating system. It's the best way I can describe it. I felt like I had a virus in my system, the kind of shame that I felt.
Because that's what we were taught.
Yeah, like I feel like that statement so many of us can agree with, especially when it comes to society's homophobia. You know, you start to believe what everybody else thinks about you or says about the community that you feel like you belong to.
Well, it's like if you get told something so many times,
you start
to believe it. That's like me going, oh, your keyboard is a spoon. You're like, no, that's a keyboard. I'm like, no, that's a spoon. That's a spoon. And it's constantly going. Of course you're going to start to believe it.
Then I'm going to eat cereal with my keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true though. I think all of us have been, regardless of queer, if we're talking about queerness or something else, it's like, you know, if you have a talent but you don't back yourself.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then, you know, 10 people could tell you that you're great and 2 people could tell you that you're shit and you'll believe the 2 people.
Oh, it's the same with mental health in terms of like body image. We've spoken about that before on the podcast where, you know, everyone could tell you you're beautiful, but that one person tells you to move your fat ass. That's all you hear.
Yep. And it stays with you.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. So after coming out, Magda threw herself into the marriage equality debate in a fierce way, but she also stated that she knew she had to be careful with how she rallied because being a public figure and putting a step wrong could have blown it for everyone. Luckily, we got it over the line in the end. Magda's sexuality was also celebrated and positively included into the later Kath and Kim movie, Kath and Kim Dorella. And even though I feel like it can feed into the stereotype of homosexuality being the butt of every joke, it feels different when Kath and Kim do it. I feel like it's still a joke, but it's widely celebrated in the best ways.
You know, until you and I got together, I wasn't a Kath and Kim fan, and then I kind of got forced into watching it.
Forced being the operative word.
And I think Australian humour is very different to joking but not really joking. Australian humour, slapstick comedy is very like, here's this dry shit. We all know it's comedy. We can take the piss.
In saying that, I do think some of the jokes still wouldn't stand up in today's current landscape.
Today's wokeness.
But I feel like the gay jokes that were made are timeless.
I also feel like sometimes, you know, when it's a queer or gay person making the joke, we talk about reclaiming words and reclaiming things a lot. It's the same sense of like reclaiming.
Yeah, but this was well before that.
Yeah.
Like Kath and Kim first came to screens in like 2001.
Wow.
So that was a long time ago.
That is a long time ago. That's crazy.
2001, maybe 2000 I don't know. When was the 20-year reunion? Was it last year?
What do I know?
I think, yeah, okay. It was
You're asking the wrong person.
between 2001 and 2004, let's say that.
Good on you, Magda.
So here's to Magda. Magda was a very good pioneer. Okay, so while we're on the Kath and Kim bandwagon, let's zoom to one of our personal favourites, Mark Trevorrow. Because if you've listened to our episode with Mark, we don't have to tell you a lot, but if you haven't, let's give you a brief overview. Now, Mark played Darrell Lee, the suit shop owner in Kath and Kim, constantly trying to drag Kel back to his Navy days.
Wink, wink.
And we did have the pleasure of talking to Mark in our very first year of this podcast about his amazing and successful career. So,
and we also got to do a special.
Yes, we did, which I mentioned in there. So Mark is just one of the many amazing queer comedians we have in Australia, but he, just like Magda, is one of the pioneers. So Mark came out as a teenager, but really found his feet in his queer and camp alter ego Bob Down.
Which is hilarious.
Yes. Mark publicly and reluctantly came out on an Aussie TV show called Good News Week when he was asked to appear as himself and not as his alter ego Bob. After making a joke about dugongs having sex face to face and Mark piping up that he wasn't part of the population that did that, the reaction from Aussie audiences was said to have been explosive. Mark says he really relied on his talent to get him through the times where he was facing homophobia and doubt. He mentioned to us in our interview how he appeared on Hey Hey It's Saturday and certain other celebrity guests at the time would refuse to touch him because he was openly queer. So they wouldn't even shake his hand. And this was all part of the hysteria surrounding the lack of education and information surrounding the AIDS crisis at the time.
And everything is media, projection,
blown up,
hysteria.
Out of proportion. We still have it now.
It's fucked.
So despite the homophobia and the self-doubt, Mark has made a wonderful career out of his multiple talents as himself and as his alter ego Bob Down, and recently celebrated 40 years of his career, which Lauren and I were so thankful that we got to witness at a show that he did for Comedy Fest in Brizzy.
That was an amazing show, and I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the fact that all his castmates asked for photos with us afterwards.
Yeah, that was like,
fun. Oh, I feel like a celebrity.
One thing I loved about it is Mark's character Bob Down is also a form of drag because, you know, he might not be dressing up as the opposite gender, but he's still dressing up and putting on like this mask of I'm a different character, I'm not me. And I think the fact that that openly gay queer character was celebrated by so many people in a generation that we often see can be the most unaccepting.
Yeah. And we've spoken about it before on the podcast where, you know, someone can be accepted in drag, but they're not accepted out of drag.
In real life, yeah. So everything for entertainment, but the minute it comes off the stage.
Yeah, because entertainment's not real, it's make-believe.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
But you know what's
real, it's
not
shit.
make-believe? Our lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I am going to end this episode on an absolutely iconic Aussie fellow queer that I think literally broke TV screens back in 2003 for all the right reasons. Ooh. So, first appearing on Australian Idol in 2 separate auditions. One is Shane and one is Courtney, and getting through as Courtney, I am of course talking about Courtney Act, who was indeed in this instance caught in the act.
Is that really how her name came to be?
I knew when I wrote that you were going to ask me if that's actually what her name means. Yeah, caught in the act.
No, I knew that's what her name meant. I've read Shane's book.
Okay.
But I was like, is caught in the act because she was caught as going to Idol in the one?
No, because she came as caught in the act, so she was already called that.
Oh, right. Got you.
Yeah. So I remember this absolutely memorable moment. Do you?
No.
Did you watch the first season of
Yeah,
Australian
I did
Idol?
when Guy
You don't
Sebastian
remember it?
won.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember at all.
So it was the very first season of Aussie Idol, a show that I actually hate with a passion. But
Why?
Because I hate singing shows.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Talent shows in general I think are ridiculous. But when I was 12 and watching this, I'll never forget the moment I saw Courtney act for the very first time, grace my television screen and start singing. And Dicko Ian Dixon, after the audition, says, "Did we see you yesterday, but you looked different," or something to that degree. And that's when Courtney revealed that she was actually in drag and the day before had auditioned as Shane and not got in. It was the very first time that I had seen drag on TV that wasn't Barry Humphries as Dame Edna.
Yeah.
And no offense to old Barry, but Dame Edna wasn't exactly a woman you drool over. So my little queer 12-year-old self saw Courtney act and thought, holy shit, what a babe.
I get it. Courtney was a babe.
Yeah.
Still is a babe.
Is a babe.
I'm trying to remember in my head. I'm like, I remember that Idol season because it was the same year like the first Aussie Big Brother and the first Australian Idol, and both the guys with the afro won.
Oh, okay.
And I was like trying to remember, but I don't remember Shane or Courtney.
I
on
remember
Australian Idol.
both, and it was amazing. You can look it up on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's
I'm gonna
actually quite
have
good.
to.
So after Australian Idol, even though Courtney didn't win, she actually got signed to Sony Music Australia and released a single called Rub Me Wrong. And it actually debuted at number 29 on the ARIA charts.
Good on it.
I actually did not know that fact until I was writing this.
That's really cool.
So Courtney was the very first gender diverse contestant to appear on Australian Idol, and I'm going to say probably the first gender diverse person to appear on Australian television that was reality TV.
Yeah, I was going to say that wasn't like scripted or anything.
Because
Yeah.
reality TV in Australia really didn't start until you just mentioned Big Brother, Australian Idol. What else was after that?
Actually, I can't remember. Yeah, you're right.
wasn't
I can't
anything-
remember reality TV show wise.
The only other really
Block?
back in the day, no, not even The Block, Backyard Blitz with Jamie Jury.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And see,
Better Home and Gardens.
yeah, Better Homes and Gardens. Jamie Jury.
That's not really reality.
People speculated about his sexuality.
Did
but-
they?
yeah.
Why? Because he's in the garden.
No, no, because he was always very fit, and you know what it took to speculate over your sexuality back in the day,
Yeah, nothing.
just for you to take care of your appearance as a man.
How dare you?
How dare you? Yes, but and Jamie used to be a dancer. He was in.
Really?
I don't know if it was Full Monty, but he did those kinds of
Oh,
things. I
that's
think he
cool.
was in Full Monty actually.
So as long as
anyway.
he wasn't given the full Monty.
I would still watch that as a queer person. So Courtney was the first gender diverse person to grace Australian TV in
Reality.
reality TV show, but she seemed to positively stay in the spotlight until her career furthered and furthered. So Courtney eventually appeared on the US version of RuPaul's Drag Race in 2014. Yeah. Most likely because it hadn't come to Australia yet.
Also, you haven't seen it, and I've tried to show you parts of it.
No, I started to watch that season and I saw up to where RuPaul told Courtney she needs to rely on more than just her body.
That's like from the first episode.
Yep.
But that is the best season because that's also the season that Bianca Del Rio and Benda La Creme is in. And like the talent, the musical alone, oh my God.
Okay. Lauren just had an orgasm over the musical.
I did.
So Courtney actually was a runner-up at the end of that season of RuPaul's Drag
Yeah.
Race. And let's face it, if RuPaul was already doing Drag Race in Australia, so Drag Race Down Under at this time, Courtney probably would have won the very
A
first
lot
season.
of people speculated that Courtney Act was going to be the host of the
I'd
Australian.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
RuPaul's not coming out and Michelle Visage is the host, so why is Courtney not with Michelle?
Literally.
I know we love Reese Nicholson, but Courtney is a drag queen.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do I know? I'm not getting paid for any of this.
No.
So Courtney went on to release more music, host Mardi Gras. She appeared on Celebrity Big Brother in the UK. She went and sang at Eurovision. All of these things while still injecting that constant diversity and bringing drag to the forefront in Australia's modern media landscape.
And she wrote a book,
Yes.
which I think she's written two actually. And I remember reading it, and I was reading it at a time when I was quite vulnerable. I think it was my breakup prior to meeting you.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just such a fascinating thing seeing, you know, she grew up in a like rural Queensland town.
No, she grew up in Brisbane.
Oh, did she?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Brisbane. Well, there you go. Flick the phone. I don't remember the things from the book that I was saying then. But she didn't have like a easy upbringing
Really
or anything.
bad school.
Yeah, bad school,
Childhood.
bad childhood, bad upbringing, but just radiates all this positivity and all this light through her drag.
Yeah, and I think one other thing I didn't mention there was Courtney's also been on Dancing with the Stars Australia, and one of those dances about gender diversity was insane. It was so good. But so one thing you probably didn't know about Courtney Act was that her parents are friends with Carlotta.
No, I did not know that.
They met at King's Cross.
Wow.
And they
actually
stayed
no, I
being
did. I
friends.
did know that because it was in her book.
Okay, yeah. So originally Courtney wanted to become a doctor and had the grades to reflect that. But after moving to Sydney at age 18 and injecting herself into the queer scene, Courtney says she was inspired to do drag after meeting Sydney drag queen Vanity Fair.
I'm very interested in the fact that her drag didn't incorporate some sort of medical persona.
Well, Courtney has and continues to have an amazing career as Courtney and as Shane, and is now one of Australia's most famous drag queens.
And our friends of ours, when we were doing Melt Festival, not this year, but last year, they actually knew Courtney.
Yeah, who was that?
I can't remember.
Neither. Doesn't matter.
That's
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we kept trying to go there because we had a cinema screening and we were trying to meet.
Went with Matt Young, who you might remember as one of our guests from last year. Matt invited us to a movie that he was a part of after he was on the pod. And yeah, Courtney was there and we were kind of lurking to try and get a photo, but it didn't happen. But that's okay.
Oh, you know who it was?
Who?
Wayne.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. No. Wayne, fellow Joy member.
Yeah.
Joy Breakfast, actually. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Wayne.
So we're going to end that there. I know that's only a few of some of the most famous queer Aussies that we have on our shores. As you all know, there are plenty more. And especially, as I said before, our Aussie comedy landscape is seeing a lot of new queer and gender diverse performers, which are amazing. We've spoken to some of them.
Yeah.
As we know, comedy can be such a great world to draw people in and have people align with you. Comedy and entertainment can bring people together, much like queer podcasts.
Woo.
So, yeah.
Well, you also didn't get to share the really fun news about us having 10,000 streams.
Oh, yeah. I was meant to say that at the beginning of this episode. We just reached 10,000 streams, which is amazing. You guys are the best. We love each and every one of you.
Thank you to all of you.
Thank you to all of you. Thank you to everyone who listens on Joy FM 94.9. And with that said, we hope that it's been a good week. We are counting down the episodes to our 100th episode. If you have been listening, you know by now that our 100th episode will be our last episode of Just Gay Stuff until we enter a new format of seasons.
See what she did there? You thought she was going away, but she was just tricking you.
Yeah, so we really do hope that you stick with us. We know we won't be weekly anymore, but we promise we aren't disappearing. We're just changing the way that you will see us for a while. So we hope you enjoyed this episode.
I did.
And we have a lot of other queer Aussies to talk about. Just a few on the list that are worth the mention are Farmer Dave, obviously from Big Brother. He entered the landscape of Australia in that reality TV era and really, blew Australia's mind that you could be a farmer and be gay. Oh my God, shock horror. And others to mention, Joel Creasy, Moana Hope, the AFLW Aussie Rules player.
A lot of the Matildas. Oh.
Yeah, we haven't even got to the Matildas, which obviously the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2023 really kind of shot female footballers to the forefront in Australia.
I think it shot just female athleticism,
well,
like
I
any
think
female
that
sport.
It's helped a lot. So yeah, I mean, we haven't even got to them yet. So
no, that's a whole other episode.
There's a whole smorgasbord of
sexy, athletic, gay women.
Girl athletes. So we might get onto that. We don't know. Will you know? Who knows? Okay, well, until next week,
I guess you better remember to
stay gay, motherfuckers.
I'm talking about